Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here at this time for the squad announcement for the 2025 Unity Cup, Jamaica's first participation in the tournament since 2004, when we had Nigeria and the Republic of Ireland. For members of the media that is just joining us, we kindly remind you as well, please put your microphones on mute, especially when our head coach of the Reggae Boyz, Coach Steve McLaren, is speaking. So what we're going to do at this point in time, we're going to put the squad on the screen, and then Coach McLaren will be going into opening remarks. Immediately after the opening remarks, then we'll open the floor for questions for members of the media. So that is how we're going to commence for this morning. So, Coach, good afternoon to you, and you can commence with your remarks as we get the ball rolling for the busy summer of activities that we have ahead of us.
Thank you, Simon, and welcome, gentlemen. Any ladies also who may be on the call. As you can see from the squad, there's 22. I'm just waiting on one more. I'm waiting for certification of papers, documents for one of the squad members to come through. So that will be named sometime in the future before the camp on meeting Sunday. The rest of it is self-explanatory. It's been a very, very difficult squad to pick, mainly because of the timing of the fixture around JPL playoff dates. So they're coming in very late, jet lagged, and we'll have one day's preparation for the game, which is not going to be ideal for that. So we've had a mixture. We've had injuries. So Mikel Antonio, Deshaun Bernard, Bobby Reid with his hamstring injury, maybe fit for the Gold Cup. Mikel were hoping also to involve him in the World Cup qualifiers Gold Cup. Too early for the Unity Cup. We haven't been able to pick less, and there are quite a few that we wanted to pick, so we've not been able to do that. Of the UK players, Charlton are in the playoff final on the 26th, so we've included Dixon at the moment. We don't know if he can join us after that, but certainly we're looking for him to come after they play the game on their Sunday. And others. We've also got K. Roy Anderson involved in the playoffs. Leon Bailey, Ethan Pinnock, they have their last game on the 26th. Had a tough season. We need them fresh for the World Cup qualifiers and the Gold Cup. 3 weeks preparation, so 3 weeks working on top of a Premier League season is not ideal. So they will join us for the World Cup squad. Latibeaudiere is similar, long season, playoffs. And again, we need him for the World Cup qualifiers and Gold Cup. 3 camps will be too much for these players. There's 2 players playing in Saudi, where their season finishes on May the 26th. Again, long season, lots of travel. Damari Gray, Damien Lowe. So we've not included them, and we want them for the World Cup qualifiers. So basically, what the squad is a mixture. Again, because of the local camp that we had in January, February, because of the inclusion of 10 JPL players in the last squad, St. Vincent, we look to give them experience by coming to the UK. And when you play international football, to give local players that experience to not just play on the island, but also to play abroad, and especially the UK, is something special. And so it gives us, because of the limitations to what we can pick, it gives us a great opportunity to include 10 JPL players in this squad. Quite unfortunately, the majority of them will be playing in the third, fourth playoff finals on Friday. Won't reach us until Sunday, so we have to assess them. The others, 1 or 2 names that we may not know and have come back in. But Brandon Cover, who obviously made his debut a couple of years ago against Jordan, we've been keeping a watch on him. And this is an opportunity to bring him in. He can ideal cover at right back, centre back, and number 6. So it's a good opportunity to have a look at him. Javon East, who you will know 3 years ago was his last game for Jamaica. He's now playing in the top league in Israel. Just moved there in the winter and has so far took a while to get in the team, got in the team in the last 6 or 7 games, scored 6 goals, 3 assists. So he's in good form. It's an opportunity to give people a chance, got experience, knows about the squad, knows about Jamaica and the football. So we give him another opportunity to come in. And the boy Burrell from Burton Albion, who this season has really been a breakthrough season for him. And he has scored 11 goals in League One for Burton. And we've watched him, and it's an opportunity. And so for some, it's an opportunity to get some fitness back in because they finished on the 10th of May, the likes of Lembakisa, Holgate, Bell, Lee, Isaac Hayden, Casey Palmer, who's been injured, needs minutes to play. So it's an ideal opportunity for them to get a little bit of fitness before the World Cup qualifiers. And for others, it's an opportunity. We brought John Russell back into the squad because he's been doing very well, scoring goals for Barnsley. Give him an opportunity. And hopefully we get Kaheem Dixon from Charlton after the playoffs. I'm looking forward to this fixture, and the main reason I'm looking forward to it is we're playing in the UK, we're playing in London. Many supporters, Jamaican supporters, live in London, and it's a great opportunity for them to come and see the real team. They'll probably watch them from afar and probably never seen them before. This is an opportunity for everybody who is Jamaican, who lives in London, and come and watch a Jamaican team against very, very good opposition. This is going to be a tough week, tough 2 games, whoever we play. But we're excited about playing in front of them, yellow and green and black jerseys, and supporters with the scarves and the flags that should turn up to Brentford. But let's not forget, this is an eye and a build-up to World Cup qualification and the Gold Cup. And so that's why we've picked this squad. That's the goal, and this is just a step towards that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach McLaren. Members of the media, this is your opportunity now. Please raise your hand. And once you're indicated, then you will be called upon and, of course, unmuted to pose a question. Let's start with Dre. Good morning, Dre. Go ahead.
Good morning, Simon. Good morning, Coach. Good morning, media members.
You okay?
All right. So, Coach, can you explain to us your style of play, and do you have the players that's needed to play this particular style of play right now?
Yeah, we obviously, from the time coming in, we obviously wanted to change quite a few things. Heimer, as I said when I came in, I reiterate, has done a great job in getting this squad together, keeping the togetherness, the commitment in the players. That was the main thing. Keep the energy, keep the attitude. This is why I enjoy this job, because of the players. Because of the energy that they give me through that. We need to keep that. We've tried to build on what the team does well, to keep that defensive structure, to make sure that we're hard to beat, make sure that we can defend in games. And I think we've done that. Disappointing, probably away to the US, but in other games, we've done that quite well, especially away from home, keeping clean sheets, which is most important, which I think the squad was built on from last time. We've tried to be a little bit more possession based, and at times we've found that difficult to build up from the back and through the thirds, progression through the midfield into the final third. We still need to work on that. Though the last two games, and especially the last one against St. Vincent, we had a little bit of an idea that we were improving in that respect. And I think Isaac Hayden has been a big plus for us coming into that position. We didn't have him for the first three camps. Latty did a great job, but he's coming as a number 6, give us stability. We need to build from that. We didn't have Casey Palmer because of injury, but I think Bobby Reid was excellent, putting Damari Gray on the 10 position, released him to be more creative. And when he plays in that position, he can be creative. I thought with Cephas starting the game and on the left-hand side, normally an impact player, but I believe he's someone who can start for Jamaica and make an impression from the beginning all the way through for 90 minutes. And he did that in the second game against St. Vincent. And we love his pace. On the right-hand side, obviously, we've got Bailey and Dixon, who we're hoping to recruit a couple more before World Cup qualifiers, Gold Cup. But certainly, we want to exploit this pace that we've got. And I think the key thing was in that second game was the introduction of Warner Brown. And I think it gave us a different dimension to the game than we played in the first leg, where we didn't really get behind opponents. But Warner Brown gave us that speed, runs in behind, always on the move, always running, being the first one to press. I think we've not had that before. So we want to build on that, be strong defensively, be more creative, and can we play through midfield, but use our speed and creativity in the front four positions. So yes, have we got the players that can do that? We certainly have. Have we got enough time to build that? Certainly we have not. But this period of unity, World Cup qualifiers and Gold Cup, the key thing is qualifying, getting into that group stage for the September, October, November camps. And by that time, I'm hoping that we have a settled squad. We know what we're doing, strong defensively, can play through the midfield, and a front four who can cause opponents problems.
Thank you, Dre. I appreciate that. We have to move on. Jason, go ahead. Good morning.
Morning, Simon. Morning, Coach. Jason
Hi,
Hall, Jason
Jason.
Guna TV here. Just have a question on the list. I made note of one player, only one player on this list for the Unity Cup that is not in the Gold Cup preliminary squad.
Yeah.
It's a player that I think a lot of us have wondered where he has been. We've been tracking his progress as well as you have, I'm sure. So what was the thinking behind his exclusion from the Gold Cup roster, and that is namely Brandon Kova?
Jason, I think the coach is frozen at the moment, so we're just
Hello.
with him. Yes, go ahead, coach. The
Have you got me back?
Yes, proceed. Did you hear us
I didn't get the question, Simon.
regarding Brandon Kova, the thinking about including him in the Unity Cup? And of course, he's not in the 60 for the provisional list for the Gold Cup.
Yeah, that's right. Look, this has been difficult picking this squad. We've had many people in, then dropped out, can't play. Got playoffs. We've had to wait for that. So we haven't had a real squad. I've had to pick 60 for the World Cup qualifiers and Gold Cup. And Brandon is one of them that has been on the radar since we came in. Many people have mentioned him. And the opportunity arose because of injuries to other people and unavailability of other people. and it's for the future. As I said, I have a squad set for the World Cup qualifiers. I have a squad set, obviously moving on to the Gold Cup. Um, and this uh, gives me an opportunity or somebody who's young and fresh who should be in the squad. I've given them opportunity. Also, when I look at the JPL players, the local players, I certainly think that, you know, when you look a year ago, how many local players were in the squad and in the Copa squad, I think there was either zero or one local player, and I think because of the local camp, 10 JPL players, St Vincent squad, 10 in the Unity, and you know, a certain amount also in the World Cup qualifiers that I've looked at that. So in the months that I've been in the job, I am learning. I am learning about the culture. I am learning about how Jamaica works, how the JFF works, and you know, along that period and along that road, you know, we've made mistakes and we've had disappointments. That is normal. I'm building towards a squad for the last three camps, World Cup qualifiers that can qualify for World Cup. So I need to give as many people an opportunity as possible, not just in the UK, not just abroad, but also local players. So that's my thinking behind everything.
Okay, Jason, appreciate that. Gregory Bryce, good morning. Go ahead, Gregory.
Hi, good morning. I'm Gregory Boyz from the Jamaica Gleaner.
Hi, Gregory.
Good morning, Coach. You've spoken extensively about the players who will not be available for one reason or another, as well as giving these other players the opportunity to come into the team. Now, with that in mind, what do you consider the parameters for success from this Unity Cup? What will you be looking for, and how will you gauge on the success of these players based on their results?
Again, I'm looking for progress from you know, the JPL players that we're picking. I'm looking for progress from them. I've seen them play on the island. I've seen them play in the local camp against Trinidad. We want to see them, how they travel, how they cope with the travel, the jet lag, and the long distances that they have to endure if they want to be international players. And it's a progression on the, you know, are they building? Are they building? Are they building? Are they getting better when we're putting them up against tougher opposition, which this will be for many of them. So we're just looking to build on other players, and it's an opportunity for the likes of Burrell, for the likes of East coming back in and Cover coming back in. I'm really excited about the boy Atkinson at the Cavaliers. I've wanted to pick him from the very beginning. Always seems to be injured at the wrong time. Watched him in the semi-finals the other night in the game, and you know, he's someone who I've wanted to give an opportunity for a while. So he comes in. So I'm not saying I'm experimenting. I'm just giving lots of people opportunities.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Bryce. Mr. Taylor, good morning, sir. Go ahead. And as you can see, folks, thank you very much for bearing with us with the internet connections. Go ahead, Mr. Taylor.
Okay, can you hear me, Simon?
Yes. Please go ahead with
Yes,
your question. Go ahead with
All
your
right, and you could hear me, right, Coach?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect, Coach, because we have to hear each other on this one. So, Coach Jay Taylor here, and this question that I have is a lot of fans. This is what's going on in the fan base. When it comes on to this specific player, I don't know if you know the history of Jamaican football. We're not going to go into it, but we had players like Walter Boyd, Jermaine Yu, Tuffy Anderson. These three players had one thing in common. They were some of the best players in their position, but they weren't able to make the national team. No, we have a player in Ravel Morrison, who is a fan favorite in Jamaica. And he hasn't even been in the 60-man squad. The fans have been waiting for him to get a club. We know it's a lower division club, but he has 21 goal contribution, coach's player of the year. No, it's a lower league. Coach, what do you say to the fans who thinks there's a petition out as well for the player to get back in the team? What do you say to the fans who thinks you have a personal vendetta against the player? He hasn't gotten a club to play.
I love Ravel. I worked with him for a year in Derby County, and I loved him as a personality, as a player. Fantastic, and there would be nothing better for me than to be able to pick Ravel at the top of his game. Everybody, it's not about the past, so you can't live in the past, and we're living in the now, and we're living in the future. And when I look around at the players, and the first thing I say is, okay, what league are they playing in? What is the quality of football that they're playing in? So that standard dictates where that player is at that present moment. Now, Ravel at that present moment, and I've spoke to Ravel, who spoke in the summer when we called him up in the winter, sorry, when we called him up for the US game, just to get him involved and see his smile again and get him playing on the field. And I said to him then, we need you playing in a tough competition where you can get up to the standard, where you're demonstrating week after week. Now, the Dubai third division is not of that standard. There is no way that I can even watch him on video. There's no way I can see him because Y Scout or whatever does not have footage. So therefore, I don't know. I know the level because I've seen the level. I don't know his but I've said, and I spoke to him before, and I spoke to his agent. The requirement is to play at a higher level to demonstrate playing at that level, and then giving opportunity for him if he is at that level and can perform at that level. And unfortunately, that has not been demonstrated. So therefore, I can't live in the past. I'd love to, and believe you me, there is nothing against Ravel. Me and Ravel get on really well, but I've got to be honest with him, and I've got to be honest with everybody, and say that it's about the now and where you're playing and what standard you're playing at now. And I've said, and I repeated to his agent yesterday, that with his ability, he should be playing top football. And at the present moment, he's playing in Dubai, third division, which is not top football. And then you can demonstrate in the football all the year, and then playing at a certain level. Of course, who wouldn't have Ravel Morrison in the squad playing as Ravel Morrison can? And unfortunately, I haven't seen that because I can't see any of the games that he's playing.
Thank you, JT. Appreciate that. Tigot, go ahead. Good morning. You're unmuted.
Yes. Good morning. Are you hearing me, Simon?
Yes, please go ahead with your question.
Good morning. Good morning, Simon. Good morning, Coach. I just need to do a follow-up on what you said a while ago. I just need a more explanation. You said you have a team that you're going to work towards to the World Cup, right? Can you just explain this? Because you have a team here, and then it's like, to me, you have two teams working with. So can you just elaborate on the team that you have it for the World Cup and this team that you picked for the Unity squad?
Did you get the gist of that, Gaffer?
Yeah, but I think I've answered that in the previous questions all the way through. It's been difficult to pick this Unity Cup team. And is it the ideal strongest squad? No, because we're missing many players through injury. Can't pick the North American players and the UK players and the Saudi players who have had a long, tough season and just finished. Well, they're not even finished yet. So I would love this tournament Unity Cup to be a week later, and be able to pick the squad that I want to pick for the World Cup qualifiers and the Gold Cup, but that's not been possible. So I've had to put a squad together which is balanced with experience, UK players, which gives opportunity to JPL players and also players who have maybe played in the past who were given another opportunity. So I think my hands have been tied into this Unity Cup. The main reason and the number one reason that it seemed a good idea at the time was because of the supporters going to London, giving the people of Jamaica who live in London an opportunity to come and support their team. Because they probably haven't seen them. Get the kids involved, and just where is the heritage from? Here's our football team, who many admire on the island, but not had the opportunity to see off the island. So, it's been very difficult this period when we're looking at three different camps and trying to pick the players and the strongest squads that I possibly can to compete in every camp. This one's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, thanks very much, Tigas. Mr. Spence, you can unmute and go ahead. I know you joined in later, but due to the quality of the internet connection, one question for this morning. Go ahead, Mr. Spence, Bertram Spence.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
And Mr. Spence, yes.
Coach, you gave an explanation. I apologize, I'm at the airport. You gave an explanation, Coach, as to why Ravel Morrison was excluded from your squad. But when I do my shows, 99% of the audience who are following, vigilant fans, follow the program religiously, have a view that regardless of where Ravel is playing, given the level of the JPL, it can't be worse than the JPL. And therefore, give me a skill set which are unique, which currently we don't have in the team. Someone who's composed on the ball, someone who can create space, someone who has some ingenuity and qualities which are devoid of the team. They find it really challenging and difficult to understand why he wouldn't even be in the 60-man squad, much less your final 23 or 26-man squad.
Yeah, it's tough making a decision. That's my job. And, I'm not excluding Ravel from the squad because he's not been in the squad since I've been here or long before that. And as I said, for 2 years, let's not. And I totally agree. How you describe Ravel Morrison is exactly how I would describe Ravel Morrison. Do I see that now? No, I don't see that now because it's not demonstrated to be now, and he's not playing in the league and the JPL. Playing in the Dubai League is totally different than playing in the JPL. It's not the standard of that. The JPL is equivalent of what we play in the Caribbean, and so therefore they can adapt to that type of football. But basically, I apologise to everybody that I can't pick him purely because I haven't seen him and I don't know what level of quality or fitness he is. I knew what he was 2 years ago, 3 years ago when I was at Derby working with him, but that's a long time. And Ravel Morrison, as I know him, should, and if clubs identified him and described him as you did, you would sign him for your club in a higher league, in a better competition. And unfortunately, he's not. And I've said that to his agent. I've said that to his player. Get back to the UK. Get back into Europe. Get back into a top division, a top team where we can see you week in, week out, where you can demonstrate what you can do at a level which is appropriate to what we're going into, which is World Cup qualifiers. And as you know, and I've certainly learned over the last 8 months, is that football in the Caribbean is tough, hard, and totally different to anything in Europe, and also anything that might be in Asia.
Thank you, Mr. Spence. Robert, good afternoon now. Go ahead, Robert. Your hand was raised. And
Hey, Simon, can I just one follow-up, Simon? I apologize.
no, I'm sorry, Cronky. Based on the quality of coach's internet connection, no, I apologize.
Okay. All right.
CC Sports Labs, good afternoon. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Simon.
Go ahead, Robert. Yes.
Yeah, this is Coach Robert Bailey from
Hi, Robert.
from the Jamaica Observer. Two quick questions. First,
What's
can you
one,
give me
Robert?
what is the latest on Mason Greenwood? What is status on him? And is it that we are running out of time to get him to play for us, especially with this Unity Cup, being something that could be a trial for him for us?
Yeah, this has been a question that's been directed at myself for the last 8 months and probably to the coach before that as well. And all I can say is that during the last period, especially, we've been working hard on recruitment, and as I say, not looking in the past, but looking to the future and looking to players that will not just play for Jamaica now, but for many years going forward. And in that, we have several players in the process of acquiring a passport to be able to play for Jamaica. So we have 4 or 5 of them. And there's no secret in the fact that Mason Greenwood is one of them. The process, when I came in, there was quite a few players who had been waiting a year, 18 months to get their passport and still hadn't got it because of the process that they have to go through and documents and through PICA, etc. And I've been saying all the way along that this process should be easier, should be smoother if you want the best players, to improve your country. Your country's got that means government, and that means government help and assisting in acquiring people who can play for Jamaica, who will benefit the national team, who will get this team into the World Cup, where you will create such an excitement on the locals, because we've all seen that since '98. But that's '98, and that's exactly my point in everything. Is in football moves that quickly. You can't live in the past. So we can't live in '98. We can't live a year or 2 years, 3 years ago. This was the best player on the island. No, we've got to move forward and find the next best player on the island, or the next best that we can bring into this squad for the future, for the next 6 months, which are going to be so important. So it's a question of keep working with the process and keep talking to these players. And we have a deadline where we do need some players to come into this country and get their passport, and we're starting to do that. We've done that to a couple of players now, in terms of Isaac Hayden. We're trying Lewis Baker, likes of Malik Mothersill from Peterborough, to try and get them to do the documents in the UK, get them over to the island. And once we do that, the passport can be done in 1 or 2 days. So we need to quicken the process. But there's 4 or 5 players definitely on our list who we're hoping to acquire, so that they come on board for the September, October, November group stages of the World Cup, which we hope we qualify for next month.
Thank you, Robert. The last question we'll have today is from Mr. Allen. Good afternoon, Mr. Allen. Go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Simon. Good afternoon, Coach.
Mr. Allen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Coach, when do you expect everybody to be in camp for the Unity Cup? I know that, it's been a long season for a lot of the players. You will have players traveling from Jamaica to the UK. So 1, when do you expect everybody to be in camp? And 2, what do you hope to accomplish, from this camp? What can you work on with these players? I know it's a short time.
Yeah, it is a short time. You know what? Yeah, you're absolutely right about the players coming into camp. For some, we haven't a clue at the moment. For Kaheem Dixon, the likes of him, for JPL players, they play Friday. They won't get a flight till Saturday, arrive on Sunday, midday, mid-afternoon. The recovery period is very, very short. We've got 1 day. We've got 1 day preparation for the first game against Trinidad, which is not ideal. but it's something that we have to cope with. So, for sure, getting players into camp, getting them in the right condition to play on Tuesday is going to be very, very tough challenge for us as a staff, but also the players who are coming together who probably for 2 or 3 weeks haven't played. Others, 10 of them might be jet lagged, and some will be coming also from abroad. And when I look at Sunday when they all come together, it's logistically it's going to be quite challenging.
Thank you very
And
much.
what I want to achieve is some of these players, like I said before, St. Vincent, like I said in the local camp, I want somebody to step forward, even if it's one or two. I want one or two to step forward and whoa, right, he's going to break into our squad and he's going to make a difference to what we've already got. And some players in this squad have an opportunity to do that.
Thank you very much, Coach McLaren. Much appreciated. Members of the media, thank you very much for your support. We appreciate it. As you heard Coach McLaren say in the opening remarks, there's a possibility one or two faces could be added to the squad. So stay tuned for further updates on that. All right. For members of the media, this recording will be sent out shortly. And don't forget, at 1 o'clock Jamaica time today, Mr. Dennis Chung will be providing a financial update. All right. So stay tuned and we will provide more information for you soon. Take care.